Not every construction project ends as planned. Some ventures, marked by ambition and engineering marvel, turn into catastrophic failures, leaving behind not just wreckage but haunting lessons. Imagine bridges collapsing before their grand unveiling, skyscrapers tilting precariously, and billions of dollars wasted, along with tragic loss of life. These disasters aren't just mistakes, they're stories etched in history, showcasing the fine line between innovation and oversight. Join us as we uncover 15 of the world's most infamous construction blunders, exploring the human errors, miscalculations, and unforeseen forces that turned dreams into unforgettable cautionary tales. Number 15. Leaning Tower of Pisa. We start with one of history's most iconic architectural blunders, the Leaning Tower of Pisa. At first glance, it's a medieval masterpiece, but its unmistakable tilt was never part of the plan. Construction began in 1173, and builders progressed smoothly until the third floor when disaster struck. The ground beneath shifted. A shallow 3-meter deep foundation on soft soil caused the tower to lean before it was even halfway built. Wars paused construction for nearly a century, allowing the soil to settle and preventing collapse. By 1372, the lean defined the structure, worsening to 5.5 degrees by the 20th century. A massive stabilization effort from 1993 to 2001 reduced the tilt to 3.97 degrees, ensuring safety for 300 more years. Surprisingly, the unstable soil that caused the lean has protected the tower from earthquakes by absorbing seismic shocks. This mistake may have saved the tower, but not all errors come with a silver lining. Number 14. Hyatt Regency Walkway Collapse. In 1981, a minor design change turned into a tragic disaster at the Hyatt Regency Hotel in Kansas City, Missouri. Celebrated for its breathtaking atrium, the hotel featured suspended walkways seemingly floating in air. On July 17th, during a Friday dance party, the second and fourth floor walkways collapsed onto a crowded lobby, killing 114 people and injuring over 200. Investigations revealed the design change doubled the load on the upper walkway's connection points, which couldn't handle the weight. This catastrophic failure led to changes in engineering practices, serving as a sobering reminder of the importance of structural integrity. Number 13. Lotus Riverside Complex. On June 27, 2009, a shocking scene unfolded in Shanghai when a 13-story building from the Lotus Riverside complex tipped over intact, as though gently laid down. This modern residential project had promised high-end urban living, but excavation for a nearby underground garage displaced the soil, weakening the foundation. Heavy rains exacerbated the problem, causing the entire structure to topple. While no lives were lost, this disaster highlighted critical oversights in construction practices and the need for better planning in rapidly growing cities. Number 12. AquaDom Collapse. Once the world's largest cylindrical aquarium, Berlin's AquaDom was a breathtaking sight until it turned into a watery disaster. Opened in 2003, the 82-foot-tall tank held 1,500 tropical fish in 1 million liters of water, captivating visitors at the Radisson Blu Hotel. In December 2022, the tank suddenly burst, flooding the hotel and killing nearly all the fish. Investigations revealed undetected microfractures in the acrylic walls, worsened by constant pressure and temperature fluctuations. What began as a marvel of engineering became a devastating failure, proving that even the most innovative designs must withstand time's test. Number 11. Sampoong Department Store Collapse. The collapse of South Korea's Sampoong department store in 1995 remains one of the deadliest peacetime building disasters. Originally designed as a 4-story office block, it was hastily converted into a 5-story department store during construction. Structural columns were removed for escalators, and a 45-ton air conditioning unit was placed on the roof. On June 29, 1995, cracks ignored by management led to the south wing collapsing in under 20 seconds, killing 502 people and injuring 937. This disaster was a result of negligence and greed, serving as a grim lesson in the cost of cutting corners. Number 10. The Hard Rock Hotel Collapse. What happens when corners are cut on a multi-million-dollar project like the Hard Rock Hotel? Disaster. The Hard Rock Hotel was envisioned as a luxurious 18-story building to bring elegance and modernity to bustling Canal Street in New Orleans. Construction began in 2018 with ambitious plans that included a rooftop bar and pool deck offering panoramic city views. By 2019, the project was nearing completion and had already become a prominent part of the skyline. However, on October 12, 2019, catastrophe struck. The top floors of the unfinished building suddenly collapsed, sending massive amounts of concrete and steel tumbling down. The disaster claimed the lives of 3 workers and injured dozens more. Debris showered the streets below as sections of the building pancaked, trapping victims inside the wreckage. Rescue efforts were severely hindered due to the structure's instability, leaving the city in shock. Investigations later revealed a major flaw in the design caused by cost-cutting measures. Steel beams on the 16th and 17th floors had been reduced in size to create higher ceilings without increasing the building's overall height. These thinner beams, unable to handle the weight placed on them, were overstressed by 300%, leading to the collapse. Cutting corners on projects like this isn't new, and the consequences can be deadly. This same negligence led to another historical disaster, the sinking of the Vasa. Number 9. The sinking of the Vasa. Imagine constructing a majestic warship only for poor planning to send it to the bottom of the sea on its maiden voyage. The Vasa, commissioned by King Gustavus Adolphus of Sweden in 1625, was intended to be a symbol of Swedish naval dominance. Built between 1626 and 1628, the Vasa stretched 69 meters long, adorned with intricate carvings and equipped with 64 bronze cannons. It was designed to intimidate Sweden's enemies during the 30 Years' War, showcasing grandeur and firepower. On August 10, 1628, thousands of spectators gathered to witness its maiden voyage from Stockholm Harbour. However, just 1,300 meters from shore, a gust of wind caused the ship to tilt dangerously. Water flooded through the open gun ports, and within minutes, the mighty Vasa sank to the harbour floor. The cause of the disaster? A flawed design focused on grandeur rather than stability. The ship was top-heavy, with excessive weight on its upper decks and insufficient ballast below. Despite warnings about its instability during test runs, shipbuilders were under pressure from the king to proceed. After over 300 years underwater, the Vasa was salvaged in 1961 and is now on display at the Vasa Museum in Stockholm, a chilling reminder of what happens when ambition overrides practicality. Number 8. Teton Dam disaster. Sometimes, even state-of-the-art construction can falter under seemingly minor errors. The Teton Dam, located in southeastern Idaho, was constructed between 1972 and 1976 by the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation. Standing 305 feet tall and spanning 3,000 feet, it was an ambitious project designed to control flooding and provide irrigation. On June 5, 1976, disaster struck. As the reservoir neared full capacity, workers noticed small leaks. Their attempts to address the issue revealed a much larger problem. By noon, a massive breach opened, unleashing 250,000 acre-feet of water downstream. The torrent devastated the towns of Wilford, Rexburg, and Sugar City. A 15-foot-high wall of water swept through the region, killing 11 people, displacing 13,000, and causing over $2 billion in damages. The root cause? The dam was built on porous rock, making it susceptible to seepage. Poorly compacted soil and rock in the dam's core allowed water to erode the structure from within. Number 7. The Walkie-Talkie. In London, an architectural marvel turned into an accidental death ray. 20 Fenchurch Street, nicknamed the Walkie-Talkie for its bulbous top-heavy shape, was completed in 2014 at a cost of over £200 million. Designed by architect Raphael Vignoli, the building featured a concave glass facade and an iconic sky garden. However, this design flaw earned the structure another nickname, the Walkie-Talkie. Its concave facade reflected and concentrated sunlight onto the streets below, creating searing temperatures that reportedly melted parts of a Jaguar car and scorched nearby buildings. During summer, the heat reflected by the building reached temperatures as high as 117 degrees Celsius, 243 degrees Fahrenheit, much to the horror of Londoners. Emergency measures included installing temporary screens and later a permanent sunshade called aerosol to diffuse the intense glare. While the walkie-talkie burned its surroundings, our next story involves a structure twisted by nothing more than wind. Number 6. Tacoma Narrows Bridge. The Tacoma Narrows Bridge, spanning 2,800 feet across the Puget Sound in Washington, was considered an engineering marvel at the time of its completion in July 1940. This suspension bridge, designed by Leon Moisseiff and the consulting firm of Sverdrup and Parcel, was sleek, modern, and visually striking. The bridge was praised for its innovative design, combining a narrow, flexible deck with elegant, minimalist towers, giving it a unique and futuristic appearance. The bridge was designed to withstand the region's strong winds, but the engineers' attempts to balance beauty, efficiency, and cost would ultimately lead to its tragic collapse. Affectionately dubbed Galloping Gertie by locals due to its distinctive swaying motion, the bridge soon became infamous for its aerodynamic instability. While the bridge had an aesthetically pleasing, streamlined design, this very feature made it prone to dangerous oscillations in the wind. On November 7, 1940, just 4 months after its opening, a windstorm with gusts reaching 40 miles per hour, 64 kilometers per hour, caused the bridge to twist violently. The deck began to ripple, resembling a ribbon caught in the breeze. As the vibrations intensified, the structure ultimately gave way, plunging into the cold waters below. The collapse was caused by the bridge's aerodynamic flaws. The lightweight design, while efficient in terms of materials and cost, failed to account for the wind-induced vibrations that could occur at certain speeds. Engineers had not foreseen how the wind could interact with the bridge's design, causing it to oscillate to destructive extremes. This oversight led to a tragedy that claimed no lives, but it became a seminal moment in engineering history. The lessons learned from the collapse of the Tacoma Narrows Bridge shaped future bridge design. Modern suspension bridges are now designed with greater attention to aerodynamics, incorporating features such as more robust damping systems, wider decks, and design elements that minimize wind-induced movements. Number 5. The Aon Center. The Aon Center in Chicago, completed in 1973, was initially celebrated as a beacon of luxury in the city's skyline. Originally named the Standard Oil Building, this 83-story skyscraper was one of the tallest buildings in Chicago at the time and was designed to exude sophistication. Its exterior was sheathed in Italian Carrara marble, chosen for its elegant, gleaming appearance. The smooth, shiny surface was meant to reflect the building's grandeur, and the choice of marble was in line with the building's luxurious identity. However, the very material that made the Aon Center stand out would also lead to one of the building's most significant challenges. Just 1 year after the building's completion, cracks began appearing in the marble facade. The city's extreme temperature fluctuations, scorching summers and freezing winters, caused the marble to expand and contract. Over time, this repeated stress caused cracks to form, and several large panels of marble, some weighing as much as 300 pounds, fell from the building. This posed a serious safety risk to pedestrians below and required immediate action. In response to the problem, the building's owners implemented temporary fixes, such as the installation of steel straps to secure the remaining marble panels. However, these measures proved inadequate. Number 4. Sydney Opera House. The Sydney Opera House, with its signature sail-like roof, is one of the most recognizable buildings in the world. Completed in 1973, it is considered a marvel of modern architecture and engineering. Its distinctive design was conceived by Danish architect Jørn Utzon, who won the International Design Competition in 1957. The Opera House's visionary design, particularly its complex shell-like roof, was groundbreaking. However, the realization of Utzon's vision would be fraught with challenges that led to a series of delays, cost overruns, and political conflicts. The project was initially projected to take only 4 years to complete and cost 7 million Australian dollars. Instead, it took 14 years and cost over 100 million Australian dollars, nearly 1,300% more than the original estimate. The innovative design created unexpected engineering difficulties, particularly when it came to building the distinctive shells that form the roof of the building. To overcome these hurdles, engineers had to use computer modeling for the first time in large-scale construction, a novel approach at the time. In 1966, after a decade of struggles, a major conflict between Utzon and the Australian government led to Utzon's resignation. The architect's departure left the project incomplete, particularly with regard to the interior design. As a result, compromises had to be made, especially with respect to the acoustics. Musicians often complained about the poor sound quality within the opera house, which became a source of frustration and criticism. Despite these difficulties, the Sydney Opera House opened to great fanfare in 1973. However, its challenges did not end there. In the years following its completion, the building underwent numerous renovations, including a major refurbishment in the 1990s, costing nearly 300 million Australian dollars. The renovation aimed to address the building's acoustical shortcomings, and the installation of new acoustic panels and adjustable sound reflectors significantly improved the Opera House's sound quality. The Sydney Opera House's tumultuous history is a testament to the complexities of turning visionary designs into reality. Its journey from an ambitious but troubled project to a world-renowned cultural icon reflects the resilience of the Australian people and the dedication to completing one of the world's greatest architectural achievements. In 2007, the Sydney Opera House was inscribed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, cementing its place in history as a masterpiece of modern architecture. Number 3. Seoul Bridge Collapse. On October 21, 1994, Seoul was forever marked by one of the deadliest infrastructure failures in its history. The Seongsu Bridge, a vital artery connecting the eastern and western parts of the city, collapsed during the morning rush hour. The disaster, which occurred in less than 10 seconds, saw a 48-meter section of the bridge plummet into the Han River below, causing vehicles, including cars, buses, and trucks, to plunge into the water. Tragically, 32 people lost their lives, many of whom were passengers on the buses that fell, and another 17 sustained injuries. The Seongsu Bridge, built in 1979, was an essential part of Seoul's transportation infrastructure, designed to accommodate around 80,000 vehicles daily. By the early 1990s, however, the volume of traffic had more than doubled to over 160,000 vehicles per day. This immense strain on the bridge, combined with poor maintenance practices, created a perfect storm for disaster. Investigations following the collapse revealed that the bridge had suffered from numerous construction defects. Faulty welding, rusted pins, and other structural deficiencies, compounded by years of inadequate maintenance, left the bridge vulnerable. The situation was further exacerbated by the fact that cracks had appeared in the bridge just hours before the collapse, yet no immediate action was taken to address the warning signs. The collapse of the Seongsu Bridge became a stark reminder of the dangers associated with rapid urbanization, which South Korea had been undergoing during what was known as the Miracle on the Han River. In the rush to modernize and expand the economy, safety was often compromised in favor of speed and cost-cutting. This tragedy exposed the dangers of prioritizing development without considering long-term sustainability and safety. In response to the Seongsu Bridge disaster, the South Korean government introduced sweeping reforms in construction regulations. The collapse highlighted the need for stricter oversight of infrastructure projects, which led to more rigorous safety standards for public works. The bridge was rebuilt and reopened in 1997, adhering to the new, more stringent safety protocols, setting a precedent for future infrastructure projects across the country. While the Seongsu Bridge collapse was a sobering reminder of the risks of neglecting infrastructure maintenance and safety, the Rana Plaza collapse that occurred nearly 2 decades later was even more catastrophic. Number 2. Rana Plaza collapse. The Rana Plaza collapse, which occurred on April 24, 2013, in Dhaka, Bangladesh, stands as one of the most devastating industrial disasters in modern history. The 8-story building, which housed 5 garment factories, was responsible for producing clothing for several major Western brands, including Primark, Walmart, and Benetton. The tragedy claimed the lives of 1,134 people, while more than 2,500 others were injured. The building, originally designed for commercial office spaces and shops, was ill-suited to support the heavy machinery used in garment factories. Despite this, the factory owners added 4 additional floors to the building without proper permits or structural evaluations. The weight of the machinery, combined with the added floors, made the building increasingly unstable over time. On April 23, 2013, cracks appeared in the walls of the Rana Plaza building, prompting workers to evacuate. Despite these clear signs of danger, factory managers forced workers to return to the building the next day under threat of wage deductions. At 8:57 a.m. on April 24th, just as thousands of workers were arriving for their shift, the building collapsed. The impact was catastrophic, as workers were trapped beneath the rubble, many of them having little to no chance of escape. The aftermath of the collapse revealed a number of disturbing facts. The building was constructed on unstable, filled-in land, which made it particularly prone to sinking over time. The building also used substandard materials in its construction, making it even more susceptible to collapse under the weight of the added floors and industrial machinery. The vibrations from the heavy machinery likely contributed to the failure of the structure, which eventually buckled under the strain. The Rana Plaza disaster became a wake-up call to the global garment industry, which relied on cheap labor in countries with lax building regulations. In the wake of the tragedy, the Bangladesh Accord on Fire and Building Safety was established. This agreement, signed by major brands and labor unions, was designed to improve safety conditions in the country's garment factories and protect workers from similar risks in the future. The accord created a framework for regular safety inspections and required factory owners to make necessary repairs to bring buildings up to code. While the reforms were an important step forward, the Rana Plaza collapse exposed the severe exploitation and disregard for worker safety in the global garment industry. The tragedy prompted worldwide protests and calls for more significant changes in how multinational corporations source their products from developing countries. Number 1. Champlain Towers collapse. The collapse of Champlain Towers South in Surfside, Florida, on June 24, 2021, is one of the most recent and tragic building collapses in the United States. The 12-story condominium complex, which overlooked the Atlantic Ocean, was home to 136 units, many of which were occupied by retirees and families. At around 1:22 a.m., large sections of the building suddenly gave way in under 12 seconds, sending parts of the structure crumbling into a massive pile of debris. The collapse resulted in the deaths of 98 people, with numerous others injured or missing. Built in 1981, the Champlain Towers South was a luxurious residential building that seemed to embody the ideal of coastal living. However, reports dating back to 2018 painted a much darker picture of the building's structural integrity. Over the years, water from the pool deck had seeped into the concrete slab beneath, causing significant damage. The steel reinforcements within the slab began to corrode, weakening the foundation of the building. Additionally, the building's location on reclaimed wetlands contributed to subsidence, or sinking, further compromising its structural stability. Despite multiple warnings from engineers and reports indicating the severe damage to the building, repairs were delayed. The cost of repairing the building's deteriorating foundation was significant, and condominium owners struggled to secure the necessary funds to address the issues. The failure to take timely action to address these problems led to a catastrophic event that could have been prevented with proper maintenance and timely repairs. In the wake of the collapse, investigators uncovered further issues with the building's design and construction. The building had not been constructed with sufficient waterproofing or proper drainage systems, which exacerbated the damage caused by water intrusion. Furthermore, the failure of the building's management to address the problems in a timely manner raised questions about the level of oversight and accountability in the condominium industry. The Champlain Towers collapse led to renewed discussions about building safety regulations and the need for greater oversight in the inspection and maintenance of older buildings. The tragedy also sparked a wider conversation about the importance of prioritizing long-term safety over short-term financial savings. In response to the disaster, local governments in Florida and across the United States began implementing stricter regulations for building inspections and reinforcing the importance of timely repairs for aging infrastructure. This tragic event underscores the importance of proactive maintenance and accountability. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.